Very good morning, dear students. Welcome back to the class. This video is for class 10 subject science, chapter number 12 electricity, and this is lecture number 9 in which we are going to do NCERT exercise solutions from 1 to question number 18. So let us begin with the exercise which is at page number 221, and the first question is, so question number 1 is a piece of wire of resistance R is cut into 5 equal parts. These parts are then connected in parallel. If the equivalent resistance of this combination is R dash, then the ratio R to R dash is option A 1 upon 25, option B 1 upon 5, option C 5, option D 25. So let us see. So we are having a wire which is having resistance R. We cut this wire into 5 equal parts, and now the resistance, as the wire is cut into 5 equal parts, so the resistance will also divide into same proportion. So that will be R5 for all the 5 pieces of the wires of equal length. Then we have been asked that these 5 resistances of resistance R by 5 are connected in parallel with each other, and they are giving an equivalent resistance of R dash. So that R dash can be calculated as 1 upon R dash is equal to 1 upon R1, 1 upon R2, 1 upon R3, 1 upon R4 and 1 upon R5, which is the general formula for calculating the parallel equivalent resistance in parallel combination of resistors. So here R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, they all are having a value of R by 5. So they can be written as R by 5, the same, R by 5, R by 5 and again R by 5. So when these kind of calculations are there, so what we'll do, R by 5 will turn as 5 by R. So then now they will turn into 5 by R, 5 by R, so now the denominator numerator are same, so we can directly add up them and we'll get 25 by R. So this is the value of 1 upon R dash. We have to calculate R dash only. So that will be R upon 25. And the ratio of R to R dash will be R upon 25. That comes out to be R upon R into 25. 25 will go up. So this will cancel out and we'll get a value of 25. So option D is the correct answer. So here option D is correct answer. Just remember one thing, that I am doing it here in the book. But you have to do this, even the multiple choice questions you have to do in your fair notebook. Let us begin with the second question now. Question number 2 is, which of the following terms does not represent the electrical power in a circuit? So we are talking about the power. Then it is having a formula, potential difference into current. And the modified forms of this are V square by R and I square R. Because when we place the value of V as IR, which is according to Ohm's law, then it becomes I square R. And if we place the value of I from Ohm's law as V upon R into this equation, then we get V square by R. So all these are the modified formulas of power. But which one is odd one here? That is B. So that does not represent the electrical power in a circuit. So option B is our answer. Question number 3 is, an electric bulb is rated 220 volt and 100 watt, and when it is operated on 110 volt, the power consumed will be 100 watt, 75 watt, 50 watt and 25 watt. So let us calculate. So in the question, we have been given potential difference as 220 volts and power as 100 watt. And in the second case, what we are asked to do, we have to find out the power consumed when the potential difference is 110 volt and the power consumed is asked. So for calculating the power, we need either current or resistance. So from here we can calculate the resistance as P is equal to V square by R. So if we calculate the value of R from here, that will be V square by P, which is giving us a value, and P we have 100, so you can write it here, and this value comes out to be 484 ohms. Now just put this value because the resistance will be the same for the same wire. So power will be V square by R, and that comes out to be and this R is 484. So we'll get a value 25 watt. So our option number D is the correct answer. In question number 4, two conducting wires of same material and equal length and equal diameter are first connected in series and then parallel in a circuit across the same potential difference. The ratio of heat produced in series and parallel combination would be 1:2, 2:1, 1:4 or 4:1. So in the question we have been provided that same material, equal length, equal diameter, that means length, area of cross section are same and resistivity will also be same as the material is same. So what is changing? Only R, and that too in series and parallel. And the ratio of heat produced in series and parallel, first we have to calculate and then we have to find the ratio of that. So let the resistance of the wire will be R. In series, because here we are having two wires, so for each R1, R2 we have a resistance of R ohm. Here also we have R ohm. So in series case, when these two conductors are connecting, these two resistors are connecting in series, then equivalent resistance, which is equivalent resistance in series combination, is R1 plus R2, that will be 2R. And in parallel, that is 1 upon Rp is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. So here the R1, R2 are same and we will be having 1 upon R and 1 upon R. So this will be 2 by R and Rp will become R by 2. Now let us find out the ratio of heat produced in series, because first we have to find out, now we have got the resistance, let us calculate the heat produced in series and parallel. So we know heat produced, which is having a formula VIT, but current is not here, so we'll have to use the modified form of this formula, which is V square by RT. So in case of series, we have R as 2R. So let us put the value. So in case of series, we have H1, that is heat produced in series combination. So that will be V square by 2R into T. So this is our equation 1. H2, heat produced in parallel combination, will be V square by RT, where R is R by 2. So V square by R by 2. So R will have here and this comes here. So this is our equation number 2. And what is the ratio of H1 to H2? V square by 2R T and 2V square by R T. What happens? We have V square by 2R into T, and by multiplying the values and writing them in reverse order here, we will have R upon 2V square T. So R will cancel out, V square cancel out, T cancel out, and we are left with 1 by 4. So the ratio of heat produced in series case, series combination of resistors, to the heat produced in parallel combination is 1 by 4. So the answer C, option C is the correct answer. Question number 5 is how is a voltmeter connected in circuit to measure the potential difference between 2 points? So we know that voltmeter is always connected in parallel to measure the potential difference between the 2 points. Because any electrical object connected in parallel experiences the same potential difference, as we have seen in case of potential difference in parallel combination, that in a parallel combination the potential difference across each resistor or each electrical appliances will be same. Question number 6 is a copper wire has diameter 0.5 mm and the resistivity of 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 8 ohm meter. What will be the length of this wire to make its resistance 10 ohm? How much does the resistance change if the diameter is doubled? So, we have been given resistance 10 ohm, resistivity as 1.6 into 10 raised to power ohm meter, and diameter is given in millimeters, so we have to convert it into meters. 0.5 millimeter. So when we convert it into meter, multiply it with 10 raised to power minus 3. So it becomes in meter now. So what will be the area of cross section? Pi r square. R will be d by 2. So accordingly we have pi d by 2 whole square. So this becomes r square. So we have pi r square. So this is our area of cross section. Now as we have to find out the length of the resistor, we have a formula R is equal to rho L by A. So if we calculate the length from here, it will become RA upon rho. So R is 10. Area of cross section is pi into 0.5 into 10 raised to power minus 3 whole square upon we'll have 4, and here we have resistivity, that is rho. So having a value 10 raised to 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 8 ohm meter. This value, well, after calculating, comes out to be 122.77 meters. So the length is this. It comes out to be 122.77 meters. This length will remain the same for the double diameter wire as well. Only the diameter is doubled and the length remains the same. So we know that R is inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area. So if we have doubled the diameter, that means the radius will also be doubled, but the area of cross-section will be 4 times. So the resistance will now become 1/4 of original resistance. So this is the answer. In question number 7, it has been given that the values of current I flowing in a given resistor for the corresponding values of potential difference V across the resistors are given below. So I is given, V is given in volts. We have to plot a graph between V and I and calculate the resistance of each resistor. So we know that when we have to plot the graph between potential and current, so potential is always on the y-axis, whereas the current is on the x-axis. So you have to plot the values, different values of I and potential difference, that is V, on the VI graph. So when you place the values in the graph paper, when you plot this graph in the graph paper, this line comes out to be this way. It will look like this, that when you draw it in a graph and when you take the x-axis as one division as 0.2 volts and y-axis one division as 0.1 volts. These scales you can take by your choice, but that should be plottable in the graph paper. So when you plot the potential difference, so when you plot the graph between potential and current in this way, then you have to calculate the resistance of the resistor. You can calculate the resistance by calculating or by finding out the slope of this graph, and that is you have to do. Choose any 2 points, mark perpendiculars on both the axes x and y. So here you will get the value y2 y1 and x2 x1. So the potentials will be y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, and this will be the slope, and this slope will be equal to the resistance that you have to calculate. So this you have to do by yourself. Now let us move on the next question. In question number 8, we have been asked that when a 12 volt battery is connected across an unknown resistor, there is a current of 2.5 milliampere in the circuit. Find the value of resistance of the resistor. So in question number 8, we have been given potential difference as 12 volt, current as 2.5 milliamperes. We have to find out the resistance. So as the potential is in volts, so this should be in amperes. So first we have to calculate this. We have to convert this into ampere, and this would be 2.5 into 10 raised to power minus 3 ampere, because we have to divide it by 1000. So to find the resistance of the resistor, according to Ohm's law, we have V is equal to IR. So R will be V by I. And the value of V is given as 12 volt. And current is given as 2.5 into 10 raised to power minus 3 ampere. So when you calculate all this, you will get this 10 raised to power 3 minus 3 will go up and will become 10 raised to power plus 3. And when you do this calculation, you can do 12, 2.5 to remove this decimal, 25 multiply a 10 above. So you will have 120 into 10 raised to power 3 upon 25. This value comes out to be 4.8 into 10 raised to power 3 ohms. This is our required resistance. Question number 10 is, how many 176 ohm resistors in parallel are required to carry 5 ampere on 220 volt line? So we have been given in the question R For each resistor 176 ohm. Amount of current flowing, that is I, is 5 ampere. Supplied voltage is 220 volts. To find the number of resistors required to carry 5 ampere of current into 220 volt. So we have to find the number of resistors. So let's say it is N. In solution, we have that let N number of resistors are required to carry a current of 5 ampere into 220 voltage supply. And these all are connected in parallel with each other. So equivalent resistance in parallel of resistors having 176 ohm will be N into 1 upon R, that is 176. So this becomes N upon 176. So now we have Rp, that is equivalent resistor. Sorry, this should be 1 upon Rp, because 1 upon Rp is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 and so on. So this will be calculated this way. So we have 1 upon Rp as N upon 176. So from here, equivalent resistance Rp becomes 176 upon N. We have the potential as 220 volts, current as 5 amperes. So let us calculate the value of Rp. As according to Ohm's law, we have V is equal to IR. So let us put the values of V, I and R. So V is 220 volt, I is 5, R is equivalent resistance, which is now 176 upon N. So N comes here and we will have 5 into 176 upon 220. So that comes out to be 4. That means 4 resistors of resistance 176 ohm each will be required to carry 5 ampere current through a voltage of 220 volts. So N is 4. That is our answer. Question number 11 is, show how you would connect 3 resistors, each of resistance 6 ohm, so that the combination has a resistance of first 9 ohm, second 4 ohm. So here we have been given 3 resistors, each having resistance 6 ohm, and we have to get one combination of equivalent resistance as 9 ohm, second combination as equivalent resistance of 4 ohm. So let us begin with the first case first. So we have to get a resistance, equivalent resistance as 9 ohm. And we have 3 resistors. We know that in series, directly added up the resistance, we get the equivalent resistance. So if we have to get 9 ohm, so we cannot directly add up 3 6 ohm resistors, because that will give a value 18. So what we have to do, 2 resistors we should use in parallel. Six ohm resistor each, and then with them 1 6 ohm resistance should be used in series. So this is how we are going to connect the resistors, 2 in series and 1 in parallel, so that we can get the resistance of 9 ohm. So if we calculate this, then first we have to calculate, let us find the equivalent resistance of this circuit. So this will be resistance of this circuit, that would be 1 upon R1 suppose, and this is 6 which is in series, so this will be directly added up. So R1 will be 1 upon 1 plus 6, 1 plus 6. and this would be, so this comes out to be 3 and here we have a 6. So total is 9 ohm which was required in the first case. Now let us do the second case. In second case we want 4 ohm resistance. So what we have to do, because 2 parallel and 1 series we have seen. Now let us see 2 series and 1 parallel with them. This way. So we have 3 resistors connected in this way. So series, they will add it up and we'll get a 12 ohm resistor here. So we will have the circuit arrangement like this. So let us calculate the equivalent resistance of these 2 resistors now. That would be 1 upon 12 plus 1 upon 6. So that will be our equivalent resistance. So that will give us a LCM 12, 1 plus 2, that means 3 upon 12. So RE comes out to be 12 upon 3, that is 4 ohm, which was the required answer. So that's how we have to arrange. In first case we have to arrange 2 in parallel, 1 in series. In second case 2 in series and third one in parallel with it. Question number 12 is, several electrical bulbs designed to be used on a 220 volt electric supply line are rated as 10 watt. How many lamps can be connected in parallel with each other across the 2 wires of 220 volt line if the maximum allowable current is 5 ampere? So in question number 12, we have been given the potential difference, that is 220 volt. Maximum allowed current is 5 ampere. Electric power of the bulb is 10 watt. And we have to find the number of electrical bulbs which can be connected in this circuit. So let the power of electric bulb be PE, power electric bulb. Let the resistance of electric bulb is RE. Let N number of bulbs are required. So we have to find the N finally. So electric power P, we know it is given as V into I. So PE will be calculated as V into I is V by RE. So we have V square by RE. So this comes out to be 220 square upon RE, that is 10, which is given in the question. Power is also given as, power is given as 10, so we have to calculate the RE. So RE will be written here and PE will be here. So we have 220 square upon 10. So this value comes out to be 4840 ohms. So this is the total resistance that we can have, equal resistance of the circuit. Now we have to find out the IR. Potential difference is given as 220 volts. Maximum allowed current is given as 5 ampere and the resistance is unknown. So the resistance will be 220 upon 5. So this value comes out to be 44 ohms. So we have R as 44 ohms. So this would be, equivalent resistance would be N into 1 upon RE. So we have N is equal to RE upon R, and this value comes out to be 4840 upon 44, because for R we have a value 44. So this N comes out to be 110 110 resistors. So 110 bulbs of resistance 44 ohms are required to be connected in parallel in this circuital arrangement. Question number 13 is, a hot plate of an electric oven connected to a 220 volt line has two resistance coils A and B, each of 24 ohm resistance, which may be used separately in series or in parallel. So what are the currents in these three cases? So in question number 13, we have been given that potential difference is 220 volt, resistance for each coil is 24 ohm, and we have to find out the current flow when the coils are used separately, in series and in parallel. So we have three cases here: when these coils are used separately, when they are used in series combination, and when they are used in parallel combination. So let us begin with the first case. So the first case is when the coils are used separately. So we'll calculate for one, that will be same for both. So according to Ohm's law, we have V is equal to IR. V is given as 220 volts. Current is, we don't know the current, but R is having a value of 24 ohm. So what will be the value of I? That will be 220 by 24, and that comes out to be 9.1 into 9.166 amperes. That means this much current flows through the circuit when each coil is used separately, because each is having resistance of 24, so same current will flow. Now the second case is when they are used in series combination. So we have R1, R2 as 24 ohms each, and in series combination we have to find out the equivalent resistance first. So RS will be R1 plus R2, that is 24 plus 24 gives out a value 48 ohms. So now the total resistance or effective resistance of the circuit is 48 ohms. The potential difference is same for it. Let us find out the current again. V is equal to IR according to Ohm's law. V is again 220 volts. Current we don't know, but now the resistance value is 48 ohms. So current will be 220 by 48. That means it is 4.58 amperes. And when these are connected in parallel, which is third case, R1, R2 are same. That is 24 ohms. But in parallel combination, the effective resistance 1 upon Rp will be 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2, and that is 1 upon 24 plus 1 upon 24. So it comes out to be 2 by 24. That means 1 upon 12. And Rp will be 12 ohm only. So if Rp is 12 ohm, V is 220 volts, then what will be the current flowing in the circuit? 220 by Rp, 220 by 12. That is 18.33 ampere. So we have three values for current: 9.166 ampere when they are used separately, 4.58, which is just half of the first case when they are used in series, and just double the first case when they are used in parallel. Question number 14 says, compare the power used in 2 ohm resistor in each of the following circuits. First, a 6 volt battery in series with 1 ohm and 2 ohm resistors, and second, a 4 volt battery in parallel with 12 ohm and 2 ohm resistors. In question number 14, we have been given in first case R1, R2 as 1 ohm and 2 ohm respectively, and voltage potential difference is given as 6 volts. and we have to find out the power, as we have to compare the powers of two cases in 2 ohm resistor. So let us see the solution. When 1 ohm and 2 ohm resistors are connected in series, so what will be the effective resistance of the circuit? 1 plus 2, that is 3 ohm. And according to Ohm's law, we have V is equal to IR. So we have now the value of V and R. We have to calculate the I. So the value of I will be 6 is equal to I into 3. So I becomes 6 upon 3, that is 2 ampere. That means in the series circuit, the current is same through all the resistors. That means in 2 ohm resistor also the current will be 2 ampere. So what will be the value of power in the 2 ohm resistor? So power will be I square R, as we have the resistance and the current. So current is 2 ampere and the resistance is also 2. So 2 square, that comes out to be 4, and 4 into 2 is 8 watt. So in the first case we get the power 8 watt. In case we have R1 and R2 as 12 ohm and 2 ohm respectively, and potential difference is given as 4 volts. So when we know that when we are connecting the two resistors in parallel with each other, then potential difference is same. So there is no need to calculate the equivalent resistance of the circuit. As to get the power, we have formula V square by R, where R is the resistance through which we have to calculate the power. So potential difference is 4 square, R is 2, across which we have to see the power consumed. So that is 16 by 2 and comes out to be 8 watt. So in first case and second case, both we have the power consumed as 8 watt. Question number 15 says 2 lamps, one rated 100 watt and 220 volt and other rated at 60 watt at 220 volt are connected in parallel to electric main supply. What current is drawn from the line if the supply voltage is 220 volts? So in question number 15, we have been given power as 100 watt, power 2 is 60 watt, both at potential difference of 220 volt. So these two lamps of power 100 watt and 60 watt respectively are connected in parallel, and we have to find out the current drawn from the line by the lamps. So the solution is, the total power will be 100 plus 60, that is 160 watt. Potential is 220 volt. So electric power, which is having a formula V into I. So we can calculate the current P upon V. So for total power we have a value 160 watt upon 220 volt potential difference. So this value comes out to be 0.727 ampere. 727 ampere. So this much is the current drawn from the circuit when these two lamps are connected in parallel. So we have total power and the potential difference. So we can use the formula of power V into I. So this is what the current drawn from the line. Question number 16 is, which uses more energy? A 250 watt TV set in 1 hour or a 1200 watt toaster in 10 minutes? So in question number 17, we have been asked about the energy consumed, that which appliance is using more energy. So the energy used by TV set in 1 second is 250 joules, because we know that it has been given that a TV set of 250 50 watt, which is the rating of the electrical appliances. That means this uses this much amount of energy in 1 second. So we can write it as energy used by TV set in 1 second as 250 joules. So energy used by TV set in 1 hour will be 1 hour. 250 into 60, converted into minutes first and then into hours. So this will be, so this is 5 joules. So 9 lakh joules will be the energy consumed by the TV set in 1 hour. Then calculate the energy consumed or used, you can say, by toaster in 1 second is 1200 joules. So energy consumed by toaster in 1 hour will be 1200 into 60 into 60, which comes out to be, sorry, it's not in 1 hour now. We have to calculate the energy consumed in 10 seconds. So first convert it into minutes and then seconds. So it will be this. So 1200 into 600, this will be the total energy consumed, and this value comes out to be 7,20,000 joules. So for TV we were having the energy consumed as 9 lakh joules, and for toaster we have energy consumed as 7,20,000 joules. So which is using more energy? TV. And how much? By the difference of 1,80,000 joules. So TV set uses more energy, and that too by factor of 1,80,000 joules. Question number 17 is, an electric heater of resistance 8 ohm draws 15 ampere from the service mains 2 hours. Calculate the rate at which heat is developed in the heater. So we have been provided in the question that resistance of an electric heater R is 8 ohm, I is 15 ohm, time is 2 hours, and we have to find the rate at which the heat energy is developed in the heater. So that means we have to calculate the power. And for power we have a formula V into I. We have some modified formulas also, but let's see which is applied here. So in this solution, we know that electrical power is given as this, and we have to calculate the electric power. So according to Ohm's law, we know V is equal to IR. So if V is equal to IR, and if we put the value of V here, then P becomes I square R, which is one of the modified forms of power. So it will be, because I is having a value 15 ampere, so I will be 15 square, R is 8, so we are having 225 into 8, that comes out to be 1800 watt. So the rate at which heat is developed in the heater is 800 watt. That means 1800 joules of energy is consumed by the heater in 1 second. So the last question is question number 18, and in 18 question number we have been given 4 or 5 parts, and we have to explain the following. So part A is, why is tungsten used almost exclusively for the filament of electric lamps? And the answer to the question will be that the resistivity of the tungsten is very high. This requires a very short length to make the filament of the bulb, as the resistivity is very high, so resistance will also be very high, and its melting point is also very high, which is 3400 degree Celsius around, which is very high. So it can withstand very high temperature because of its melting point. One more important point is that it does not react with atmospheric constituents at high temperature. That means it does not burn or oxidize at higher temperatures. So that is why tungsten is used for the filament of electric lamps. Part B of question number 18 is, why are the conductors of electric heating devices such as bread toaster, electric iron made up of alloys rather than pure metals? So we know that pure metals are having a very low resistivity, that means a very low resistance. So if we make the filaments or the elements for the heating devices from pure conductors, then one shortcoming is that the large length of the metal, pure metal, will be required to make the filament, as we need the more resistance in case of heating elements, because we want the heat developed, and that will only be developed if the resistance is very high. So to have the very high resistance, we will need a very long length of wire of a pure metal. Second thing is that at very high temperatures, the pure metals will get melted and the resistance will not be that high. So these are the reasons why pure metals are not used. But alloys, which are mixtures of metals, so they have a very high strength, very high temperature. So they can withstand very high temperature, and they are having a very high resistance rather than the pure metals. As compared to the pure metals, they have high resistance. So a short length of the material is required to make the filament or the heating element of the heater. They can withstand with the high temperatures. So that is why alloys are preferred as compared to pure metals to make the heating devices such as bread toasters and electric irons. Part C is, why is the series arrangement not used for domestic circuits? And the answer to this question is that if there is a series arrangement in the household circuits, the same current will flow. So the first point is, same current will flow in case of series arrangements, which is not required, because many of the appliances, they need some less amount of current to work properly. So that is why series connections are not used in domestic circuits. Second point is that if electrical appliances like AC, fan, they are connected in series, then the output voltage changes so that it may not work properly, because these appliances need a very high potential difference. So they will draw current accordingly. And if the third point is that if one of the appliances get fused, then there will be the effect on the other appliances and the whole circuit will get fused or get damaged. Or you can say, if one appliance is not working, so the other appliances will also not work in the series, because they are connected in series. So if one is switched off, the connection will be broken and the current will not flow through the circuit. So that is why series arrangements are not used for domestic circuits. Part D is, how does the resistance of the wire vary with its cross-sectional area? So we know that resistance is inversely proportional to the area of cross-section. That means when area of cross section is increased, the resistance will always decrease. Suppose we are increasing the area of cross section as double, then the resistance will become 1/4. Sorry, 1/2, because they are inversely proportional to each other. So when this is getting twice, this value will get half, and when this is getting half, it will get doubled, and vice versa. Now, last part is, why are copper and aluminium wires usually employed for electricity transmission? So the reason why the copper and aluminium are used as the conductors to transmit the electricity are that they are very good conductors of electricity, they are chemically and physically very stable under usage condition, and they are available in abundance, economical. So these are the reasons why copper and aluminium are used. Although silver is the best conductor of electricity, but being expensive, it cannot be used in making connection wires or to transmit the electricity. So that is why copper and aluminium, which are found in abundance, economical, stable, good conductors of electricity, aluminium and copper are used for transmitting electricity from one point to another. So this is it for today's lecture. We have completed the solutions of NCERT exercise of your chapter number 12, that is electricity. So along with this exercise, you have to complete this exercise in your notebook along with some of the in-text questions which are left while doing the lectures, that you have to complete in your fair notebook. And one more thing, assignment number 1. Will be given to you on the basis of this exercise. There will be some basic questions, some of the important questions that you should know after doing electricity. Maybe some of them we have not discussed in the lectures, but let's say we'll discuss them in the solutions of assignment number 1. And here you will be having 15 questions in total, and that you will find out on the EDQuark website. So for the homework, just go through the EDQuark website and find out your homework and complete it. Then after one day, like tomorrow, we'll be discussing the answers of these questions. I'm not giving you one day because these questions are simple and you should understand these questions after doing this chapter. So see you tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.